people aren't buying your product or service. What they're doing is borrowing your belief in yourself and for the outcome. Very similar to what you said.
And that's why I say people don't want to buy, they want to invest. If you're selling from the stage and you have a program, and we'll say it sells for X number of dollars, what you're asking people to do is to invest in it. And they will invest as much as they believe the value they're going to get from it. If you're not successful selling from the stage, you haven't created enough of a value proposition.
Hey, and thanks for joining us today. Welcome to Speaker Live. I am so excited today because I have the sales hunter, Mark Hunter, with me. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thank you for having me. We finally get a chance to sit down and talk sales to speakers. I love it.
I love that, but you said something that just piqued my curiosity, and you got to do it in radio voice. Let's talk about how you wanted to be a disc jockey.
Well, when I was in college, you're listening to the Mindy 95, KQZ Radio, 719 in the city, going to a high of 68 today, doobies. Okay, that dated me right there. So yes, I wanted to be a disc jockey, but that's not what you can tell your parents. You know, hey, this is what your tuition money is going for. Your son's going to be a disc jockey. That doesn't work. So that's why I wound up choosing the next easiest degree. Ooh, I'm going to throw some people under the bus. Marketing. I got a marketing degree. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So
wait a minute, how did I wind up in sales, right? That's the next question you want to ask, right?
We all end up in sales.
Well, we all wind up. I only wound up in sales because of the police department.
Okay, and let's unpack that.
Okay.
How did that happen?
What happened was my senior year, I bought a new car. My parents were really not liking me then. And I got too many speeding tickets. And just a couple weeks after graduating from college, I got a notice from my insurance company. They weren't discontinuing me, they were inviting me into the high risk pool. Problem was now I had a insurance payment, apartment rent, and a car payment. I couldn't afford all three. I had to get a job that supplied me with a car. That's how I wound up in sales.
I get it. I studied the media, but I went into sales because I could make more money as a correspondent and do my sales gig and then just do the correspondent thing on the side. So I totally get it.
Love it. Yeah.
So I wanted people to hear your radio voice because I imagine that you're just amazing on stage when you pull that out.
Well, you know what? I pull it out sometimes just to set the tone that people, we're in this business. I don't know too many people who wake up or when they were 5 or 6 years old say, I want to be a speaker when I grow up. It just doesn't happen. It's just the same thing like a salesperson. It's a career that you wind up stumbling into.
Totally.
And thank goodness we all stumbled into it because we had a message. But the problem is speakers starve to death unless they can sell.
True.
You've got to be good at both if you want to have a chance at being successful and having longevity.
So what do you think the secret to being good at sales, on stage? Selling from the stage is a real craft. And some people just fail at it miserably. Why do you think that is?
Well, they fail at it because it comes back to they don't believe in the outcome they create. It's not what they have to sell. It's the outcome. This is what I really want to focus people on. This is what you have to remember. What you do is you're helping people see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. That's my definition of sales. That's my definition of leadership. And really, that's the definition of a speaker, helping others see and achieve what they didn't think was possible. But the problem is, the vast majority of speakers don't really believe it. They really don't believe it because they're so caught up in the craft, the architecture, the delivery of the speech, they fail to passionately, emotionally believe what they're doing. And that right there then creates a disconnect.
Absolutely.
You've got to believe, because then what this does is this allows people to now begin to learn something. If I have the ability to help someone, I owe it to them to reach out to them. You see, if I'm standing on the stage and I'm going to sell from the stage, and if I know I can help you, I have an obligation to reach out to you, because if I don't reach out to you, I'm doing you a disservice.
Very true.
So selling from the stage is an honor I get to do to help you. Wow. You begin to put that into perspective, and that just changes everything.
It kind of reminds me, I think I told you in the break, that I cut my teeth on copiers. I worked for Danka. And one of my team leaders, he said this to me, and I'm in my early 20s, and it stuck with me, is people aren't buying your product or service. What they're doing is borrowing your belief in yourself and for the outcome. Very similar to what you said.
And that's why I say people don't want to buy, they want to invest. They want to, if you're selling from the stage and you have a program, and we'll say it sells for X number of dollars, what you're asking people to do is to invest in it. And they will invest as much as they believe the value they're going to get from it. If you're not successful selling from the stage, you haven't created enough of a value proposition.
Oh, let's unpack that a little bit, Mark. So what is a good presentation? What are some tips new speakers that or maybe even seasoned speakers that really want to learn how to sell from the stage? What do they need to know?
Well, they first of all have to set the stage. You have to create the picture. And I use the word picture. In other words, I'm creating a visual experience that you can relate to. If the experience is just mine and you don't connect with me on it, it's like, this is some arrogant fool standing up there. But if I can craft a story that brings you into and you can relate to it, now I begin to be in a position to have you buy this program. But there's still more to go. Because what I have to do is I have to get you leaning in. Now, is this a little bit of a game? Yeah, it is a little bit of a game. Because I got to get you leaning in with two things: scarcity and time. Scarcity and time. What do we mean by this? The fact that there's really only a few people qualified to really do what I'm about to share with you. Now, you hear that and you go, wow, everybody wants to be part of that. Everybody, we all believe we're part of the upper half of the class. We all believe we're the best people out there. And then when you begin to put the element of time in there, because the element of time and this is, so many people delay a decision because,
True.
I'll get to it next year. I'll get to it next year. So you have to put the element of time that I've got to be able to do this right now. Because if you anticipate to be able to achieve these rewards in your life a year from now, you have to start today. It really is like a financial planner if you stop and think about this. A financial planner can't go to somebody who's in their 20s or 30s and sit there and say, well, come back to me when you're in your 40s or 50s, and then you begin saving and you'll have enough money for retirement. They have to create this picture that you got to start saving right now. You got to start investing right now. That's what you have to create. But you emotionally pull them in by creating a story.
That's true. So let's unpack that a little bit. Storytelling. How do you weave a story into a sales pitch?
Well, it's very easy because what you're doing is you're really sharing your experiences.
Mm-hmm.
People always will sit there and say, is this story authentic?
Mm-hmm.
Is this story happen? And if it's your story, then it becomes much more authentic. You can't borrow a story. Don't borrow. Well, I talked to somebody who knew somebody. That has no merit whatsoever. But if you can sit there and say, let me share with you about Debbie. Debbie was an individual who I had the privilege of meeting a couple years ago. Met her over a cup of coffee. Now, you notice what I'm doing? I'm using her name.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over a cup of coffee. We were just outside of Scottsdale. Great little coffee place, absolutely fantastic. We sat down and she began to share with me what her dreams were, her passions were. Ever thought about what your passions, what your dreams are? Yeah, that's what Debbie had. And so you begin to paint this picture. And so what you're doing is you're walking them through Debbie's story.
Wow.
But you're inviting them to be part of the story.
I love that.
And then that's how you begin to emotionally pull them in.
Well, I've been told that you are also not only masterful at sales, but you're an amazing prospector.
I don't know.
So I want to unpack that because a new speaker, and actually, let's face it, you're always going to have to sell yourself, but you're always going to have to find prospects. So what's your methodology for prospecting?
Well, there's a couple of things that have to happen. You have to be seen as having authority out there in the marketplace.
Right.
Your reputation arrives before you do. That's without a doubt. Now, this isn't a license to go out and post on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram for the next 5 years. No. What this is, but you have to create a level of authority out there. In other words, so you do have to create a social media presence, podcasts, magazines. You have to be in different places because what you're doing is you're softening up the marketplace. Now, here's where so many salespeople go wrong, or speakers go wrong. If it's an audience, I want to be in front of them. No. You want to have your ICP, your ideal customer profile. You've got to be very, very clear, very, very articulate. And this is where you're spending your ammunition. So as you're developing your authority, for instance, there are some trade publications that I regularly appear in. Why? Because that's my audience. Those are my people.
Right.
And that helps me. If I were just to spread my message all over the place, nobody would hear me. Now, I guess if you're Coca-Cola and you're spending, billions of dollars a year on advertising, you can do that. I don't have $1 billion. You're probably just a couple dollars short of that. But, So the whole thing is
Progress.
you craft your message very tight. And then what you do is you have to then create a loyal following. And this is an email list. This is a magazine. This is videos. This one. But you begin to create. Now what I got to do is I got to start reaching out to these people. And I have to be deliberate and I have to be intentional. In my own business, for instance, I don't get caught up in the number of emails we send out every day. I don't get caught up in the number of phone calls, whatever. The one metric I measure, conversations. My objective is 5 conversations a day. If I'm having 5 conversations a day, and I'll explain what I mean by that. These are with people who either are buying from me, in other words, I'm just going to be speaking to them. These are people who could refer me, or they're people who I'm prospecting. These are 5 conversations. Now, a conversation is, just as you said, it's on the telephone. It might be a Zoom call, it might be a Teams call, or it might be a rapid fire exchange in text messaging or something like that, or an email, but it's got to be rapid fire.
Right.
If I have 5 of those conversations a day, guess what? My calendar is going to remain full. Now, I want to come back to something, because that second group I said was people who can refer you. Speaking is all about referrals. You've got to have this group of 20 or 25 people who they're advocates of you. They're fans of you. They will recommend you. They will refer you. Then you've got to have this close-in speaker group of 5 speakers who will refer you. And you are referring them. How do you go about doing that? You have to be one who gives out referrals. In my own job, every week, I give 3 referrals a week. I mandate, that's one of my, it is non-negotiable, 3 referrals a week.
Wow.
Now, I'm not expecting as I give a referral that, I just gave you a referral. I'm waiting for mine. No, I don't care.
Yeah.
But, the universe of referrals just works that if I give referrals, guess what? I begin to get stuff back.
It's karma.
It's karma. It's referral karma. RK. Yes. And that's the beauty of it. So this is the whole thing. We have to have a great product when we stand on stage. We have to deliver. And this again is where so many speakers fall down because, I got a keynote on this. I got a keynote on this. I can do this. Hold it. No. Get tight. You only want to have a couple keynotes. And you can tailor them. But again, if you're dealing with your ICP, your ideal customer profile, you know what their pain is, you know what their problem is, so you stay right there. So you become so good in that space. And again, those people begin referring you. You're making phone calls.
Yeah.
And why is it? This drives me nuts. And I'm going on a rant here.
Yeah.
Speakers can stand up in front of a stage, hundreds of people, thousands of people, but they're afraid to pick up the phone and call one person.
Reluctance. Exactly.
Why is that?
I don't know. I grew up on the phone. Remember the long cord?
Yes.
I grew up on phones. I don't have a problem with it.
Yes.
But a lot of people do not do the phone.
They don't do the phone. And it's a shame because I don't know about you, but I've yet to see a headline where a speaker calling somebody got shot, got maimed, lost an arm, killed, died because of a phone call they made. It doesn't happen.
Nope, doesn't happen.
And what I find so funny is that speakers will put all this effort into, I got to craft this perfect keynote. It's got to be every word's got to be perfect. And then they try to make every phone call the same way. Hey, I have blown more phone calls than I ever cared to imagine. It's okay. It's okay. It's just a phone call. And I always go back to Michael Jordan. I still believe he was the best basketball player ever. And he said,
I think Kobe, but
okay. We got Kobe, we got LeBron, we got Michael. Okay, I get that. Each one of them would say that they've lost more games than they've won.
absolutely.
Mm.
You learn from it.
So you know what?
Got to keep doing it.
I blow phone calls, and it doesn't matter.
I know you. I called you this morning.
Yes, you called me this morning, and it was interesting because I'd literally just come back in my room from my run. My phone's ringing, and I go, I don't want to answer. I better answer it. It's Phoenix. I bet it's Leah. Yeah, it was you.
It was me.
It was you. It was you. Yeah.
It was me. So let's talk about your book.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about this. A Mind for Sales. That's quite the title. What does that mean?
Well, what it means is very simply this. Your mindset going into a sales call predetermines the results you get coming up.
Absolutely, 100%.
I mean, that's without a doubt. And all this is about getting your mind into the right place. Now, this is not neuro-linguistic. I'm not intelligent. I made the upper half of my class possible. This is just me telling my story.
Okay.
And sharing very simplistic techniques and strategies. One of the things that I talk about in the book is how you start your day. How you start your day.
So important.
It is so important because this, again, is where so many speakers fall down. They are not disciplined in the routine. What I find, and I find this so interesting, the difference between average speakers and the top performing speakers is look at the top performing. They have such a great life. You know what? They're incredibly disciplined. They are incredibly disciplined. They are absolutely. And I firmly believe that you have to start your day. I get up every morning at 4:30. Boom, 4:30, boom, boom, boom. And I have a very set routine. In the book, I talk about the 10 a.m. rule. What's the 10 a.m. rule? The 10 a.m. rule is by 10 a.m., I want to have accomplished something significant. Because if I've accomplished something significant by 10 a.m., I feel good. I feel jazzed. So if I can have a couple conversations in by 10 o'clock, if I can maybe have a client call in by then or something like that, I feel good. It motivates me to be that much more engaged.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So Mark, we're running out of time, but how can people find you?
Well, they can find me. All you have to do is just go to the internet and type in Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. And again, this is called authority because again, if you think you're authoritative and people type your name into the internet and you don't come up, then you're not authoritative. So anyway, Mark Hunter, the Sales Hunter. The website is the Sales Hunter. I'm all over LinkedIn. I'm all over YouTube. I'm out there in different mediums because to me, having that authoritative license, credibility.
Well, you have an incredible podcast as well.
Well, we do. And let's talk about that for a bit. I hear more people say, well, I want to start a podcast. Just start. You know, the average podcast only has 7 episodes.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I got more in the can today.
Yes, congratulations. Because people give up. Hey, you have to do 100 podcasts before. Well, how do you do 100 podcasts? I do a podcast with a good friend of ours, Meredith Elliott Powell, and it's called Sales Logic. We just happened to win an award, top sales podcast globally.
Congratulations.
Which was, quite a recognition. And what's very interesting is we do that podcast every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time, regardless of where we are in the world. Discipline.
You guys are amazing. I'd rather you have a great system. And discipline.
But it is discipline and consistency. If you want to make it as a speaker,
yes,
you have to be disciplined and consistent. And we've had this podcast now 3 or 4 years. And the first 6-9 months ago, kind of but we kept going.
Right.
And the beauty of it is, like she has said, and I've said, Meredith, I would have dropped this podcast long ago if I had known you were pushing me. And she said the same thing about me.
Right.
Accountability.
Accountability.
Success in speakers, it's not a solo show. It's a team effort.
It does.
Who's in your corner?
It takes a village.
It takes a village, without doubt. Yeah. And that's another thing I talk about in the book in terms of really creating a mastermind. Creating a mastermind and dialoguing with it. I'm part of I'm a part of several masterminds. And we're texting back and forth all the time, helping each other, helping with this lead, helping with this opportunity. Hey, can you look at this video? Can you check this out? And it's absolutely, because it can be lonely out there.
Oh, yeah. Been there.
Very lonely. Yeah.
Been there.
Yeah.
It's good to have a sidekick.
Oh, you have to have a sidekick because you think it's all, oh, wow, you're with all these people. No, it isn't, because you're going from one city to another, and it's like, okay, here we go.
You know, before we leave, and I know we're running out of time, but people do think, you know, that it's so glamorous being a speaker. And part of it is being on the stage, but the logistics, you know, living out of a suitcase, getting to eat at 11 o'clock and there's nothing but McDonald's. You know, it's not quite as glamorous as people, you know, think it is. It's worth it.
It is worth it because, you know, at the end of the day, you have to be passionate about people.
Yes.
This is just the same thing as sales. You're successful in sales when you're passionate about people. You're successful as a speaker when you're passionate about people and you invest in them. And that's why whenever I'm speaking, I'm always sitting in on the entire meeting as much as my schedule allows. If they have a cocktail party, I'm there. I don't know anybody, but I'm going to go meet people. I'm sitting down with them. I'm talking with them because for that day, for that period, I am 100% zeroed in on them.
Totally present.
Totally present. And you know what that has? That has me feeling better about the engagement I'm about to do or the topic.
But it's making them feel better too.
Oh, they will sit there and say, how long have you worked for the company? That to me is the mark of excellence. When you get done speaking and somebody comes up to you, how long have you worked for the company? That tells me I've done my job right.
What a perfect way to end this show. Wow. Mark, will you come back?
I'd love to. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Wow, you guys. Again, this is Mark Hunter of The Sales Hunter. Great podcast, great content today because people hate sales and you make it look so effortless. So if you guys like the content, I hope that you'll hit the like and subscribe button below.